Hello there, this is Critical from Cridical Media. Just taking a look at the Junji story collection release of Deserter. This is a release from 2021 by Viz Media, although originally it comes out from Asahi Shimbun. And what we usually do at this channel is just give you an idea of what to expect if you ever come across this book in the wild. So we go over the exterior, some bonus material, art and plot points, and then a brief review at the end. Now, in keeping into the tradition of the previous releases, I noticed that the previous releases, they tend to have this unique feature with the spine versus the cover. So sometimes the cover is more matted versus the spine, which is glossy, or vice versa, or sometimes just the spine itself is matted and they use a different texture for the cover. So in this case, it's smooth, but gloss spine. It has a traditional eye, as per normal. So yes, no gutter loss. Although the way these books were written, very little gutter loss you're going to experience with all these Junjitos. But nonetheless, a very tightly wound package and hardbound. I love that. Now, in terms of the bonus content, not too much going on. I've noticed a similar trend with the other books as well. So no bonus materials, no interviews this time around. Just a brief little about the author kind of jazz. So a little brief bio here. Also mentioning Remina. There you are. Love ya. But nonetheless, very well put together, I'll say. The front end, not too much going on either. But I can't deny how evocative that cover is. Thankfully, it has a nice table of contents because this is more of an anthology book. It's not just one story, but multiple. And that's what I really like about this. It will have pretty much something for everyone. Speaking of which, since we're talking about, I guess, the content and art, the beauty of this series is that it actually collects a lot of works from Ito's career. So it starts like, you'll see like some 80s vibe, some early 90s, and then his more modern style. So like the very first story off the bat is definitely 80s, that's for sure. It looks like 80s, it has a very flat kind of design. Lots of straight lines on intended curved objects, like people's faces, for instance. So very most notable. And yes, thankfully it is very diverse. So you'll get some supernatural stories. You'll get some more psychological drama. So no sci-fi, but still scary in its own right and interesting, to say the least. But very well put together. Oh, honestly, like the man has a great, I guess, sight for horror. So it's not too. Sometimes it's the predictable variety. Sometimes it's cliche, but he has his own spin on it, which is what I like about him, right? And now, in terms of like at least my choice picks, because there's about 12 different stories here. Probably my favorites. I do have like 4 favorites. I'll have highlighted 3 of them here. But yeah, let's just go over those real quick. Biohouse was pretty interesting, although a little disturbing. Had that whole fatty Arbuncle thing going on. So, very unique to say the least. But the second story was already one of the ones I liked a lot. Face Thief. Very interesting idea. Almost a doppelganger kind of thing going on. But I appreciate the spin and the turn of it. So, very good. There was a 4th story, or somewhat of this story here, yes. I believe it was what, The Sandman Lives or something like that. Forgive me. Where the Sandman Lives, yes. Interesting idea. This, you can almost tell years had gone by because you could see his, I don't know, his designs and his plotting and structuring was far more advanced in the first few stories. So I definitely liked it. Probably what gives it away is mainly the wardrobe of people. Like you can almost gauge the time period in that sense. So very good there. But very creepy. Like I just like how you can't see his eyes; they're vacant there. Very interesting. Let's just put it that way. Probably another banger. Probably my favorite of the whole bunch is this Scripted Love. A nice little 20-30 page story where no horror sci-fi business going on. This is more of the psychological dramas I was referencing. I love this story because this can happen. This can so happen. I believe this has happened to people. So that's probably what makes it so scary, because I swear I've read some news articles about something very serious like that. And let's just put it this way. If you ever watched the film Misery or read the book by Stephen King, You'll love it. Let's just put it that way. So very on point there. Unique to say the least. Some of them are kind of cliche to the point where it's like, okay, come on now. Like this one I think is called the Reanimator Sword. It's a cool name, but it's cliche beyond the word. I think this one's from Father's Love. This was actually the longest story in the book. I think this is like a 50-pager. A lot of the stories are like 20 to 30 pages, but that one was like 50, which I was surprised with. But it led into one of my favorite stories of the series, so the Endurable Labyrinth. And yeah, this one. It's kind of sci-fi, kind of not. So that already kind of tells you it's probably good, because it's in between. It's almost in the ether, so to speak, or the ethereal, I should say. But yeah, very on point. I like how this one, you could tell, is probably from his later days. Like he definitely figured out figures properly, and like I said, his designs of environments are beyond impeccable. Love it. Yeah, especially this page. Thank goodness I came to it for you guys. So very on point there, that's for sure. An interesting concept as well. It almost makes you think about Sensor, the way she's drawn versus Kyoko from this. As a matter of fact, I won't go that far. Her name's Saiko, anyway. Yeah, very on point stories. But the title of this collection, Deserter, it saves itself for the final story. Oh, Bully. I should have mentioned that one. Very good, too. But Deserter is a very interesting tale where it's only about 30 pages. And it uses that concept of, post-World War II Japan, the kind of manias and philosophies of folks. And it gives you a lot of that Grave of the Fireflies vibe. Maybe only because it's the same setting, my apologies. But I always like seeing like the other perspectives of history. So this is a very interesting story. I didn't think it was anything special. I thought it was more of what's the word? I thought this was going to be more of a psychological drama. It is, but it definitely has its own twist. Let's just put it that way. Very on point. Makes you definitely dislike certain characters a lot. Let's just put it that way. But all in all, very good package. I would give it an 8 out of 10 if I was grading it. So very on point. That cover, though, man, it's perfect. And it has an overall good feel. Good paper stock, nice and smooth. Very on point. But hey, maybe I can do some more manga on this channel. Yeah, I never did Uzumaki. If you guys want me to do it, sure, I'll do it again. Or Gyo, or the others. But either way, it's not about me. It's more about your opinions, which I wouldn't mind hearing in the comments down below. And if you have any questions or concerns, yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing your input just the same. Y'all folks take care and enjoy your day.